Hey guys, this is our first Kelly and Jefferson watch our own movies, and we're starting with The Perfect Stranger, our first feature film. So let's get into it. This movie was based on a novel called Dinner with a Perfect Stranger. Getting through all the logos. I was in it. It starred Pamela Brumley in the lead role. Of course, we'd had another actress in mind that got pregnant right before we were ready to start shooting, and we cast Pamela Brumley. It's great. Here's the opening shot in our friend's neighborhood. Somebody made a comment one time. They said, I remember after the movie came out, they said, "That was brilliant the way that you found the empty houses to show the empty lives of people." I said, "We were just looking for a neighborhood we could shoot in and not get arrested." So
exactly, a nice little cul-de-sac.
Literally, we drove through this town, Jefferson Moore, saw a mountain name, The Perfect Stranger. Here's the first shot of Nikki and her dad. That's Nick Bonera. There's Kathy Hodge in the picture with Pamela. Kathy was one of our producers. There's our first shot of Dennis Martin with Pamela. These were fun. I think this was all shot at Scott Schuler's house on his wall. This was done very much in post-production. Second unit after we had wrapped everything. Kevin Bryan, director of photography. Based on the novel Dinner with a Perfect Stranger by David Gregory. Somebody gave me the novel when I was doing a stage show, and it was the first time I'd ever been exposed to it. And I remember thinking that it would just make a great movie. And I'd never written a movie before, and this is the screenplay that came out of it.
Take an 8-year-old so long to get ready for school. It's not like
Pamela Brumley from Plano, Texas. She was living and working in New York at the time we cast her. There's Dennis Martin, actor friend of mine from Nashville.
Sarah, now!
I'm right
Stella
here.
Davis rounds out the little family there.
Wheat bread, no mustard. There's a big surprise.
Yeah, this was our first film. We really didn't know what we were doing. We didn't have a lot of resources, and we really pulled together a band of really dedicated people that wanted to make this movie, wanted to see this movie get made. So
you know how much Mommy loves you.
we were very fortunate in that. But at the same time, it was our first feature film. We'd done a short up to this point. But I'd never directed a movie before. I'd never been a lead in a movie before. I'd done films up to this point, but I'd never been a lead.
She's going to a camp out at the Inmans tonight.
So you were doing both sides at the same time?
Yeah, and of course Shane was my co-director.
So I guess you've also probably forgotten that Sarah's going.
So this is setting up the story. We've got to get Nikki into the restaurant.
Date night.
Oh, I can't tonight, honey.
So nothing does that better than having a fight with your husband, and he's made other plans on a Friday night. So that's how we set it up. Of course, this whole thing, the novel, it kind of starts in the restaurant.
And in the novel, it was a guy.
Yeah, in the novel, Nick was a man. And so one of the choices I made when I did the screenplay was I thought it would be a better dynamic if the two leads, the Jesus character and Nikki, was a woman.
Right.
They would be opposites, and I thought that would work better. And David Gregory, who wrote the novel, had to sign off on it. I'm so glad he did, because we never would have had a movie.
The men's church-wide cookout. Yeah, that sounds like a lot more fun than a ball.
And this really,
I know you've never been.
Pamela was a musical theater actress. This was her first feature film, and for her to make the transition.
She was incredible, because a lot of people do have a hard time going from the stage to the film. It's a whole different
because stage is so
thing.
big and movies are so subtle.
I'll be home late.
Well, she was incredible. And
So here we
also
are.
from being staged, she was great at learning so much dialogue
Yeah,
so
because there's-
quickly and
yeah.
shooting it in such a short amount of time. She was
So here's
fabulous.
Louisville, Kentucky, doubling for Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
So we've already mentioned that Matt's going to a Cubs game tonight. Just kind of keeps selling the fact. We've got Chicago commercials coming on here. Yeah, I think that was me, Kevin, and Kevin the DP, and Pamela just driving on the expressway
Yeah,
around
that was
Louisville to
it.
get these shots. This is a friend's office building. We found out early on it's good to have a lot of friends that are willing to do you favors. So this is our fake law
Morning, Mrs.
office.
Kaminsky.
There's Cassie Arza,
Nikki, Mrs. Kaminsky is my
another
mother-in-law.
great actress. So yeah, this is all the setup, and this was not necessarily in the original book. I just knew we had to set up Nikki as this character whose life is less than perfect, and she's cynical. She's got trouble at home. She's got a kid she cares about, and from the invitation she got from the neighbors, churchy people make her uncomfortable. So this is the setup, and
Rachel, could you come in here, please?
But this part was not in the original novel. We had to make things more cinematic, because novels can get right down to it, and
Do you know
in
how
a
this got on
movie
my
you've
keyboard?
got to
I didn't see
set the
anybody
scene
come in
for a
here.
lot of things, set the
What is
stage
it?
for a lot of things.
Apparently it's some kind of joke.
Pepinos. It's nice to know Jesus has good taste. You sure he's buying?
Look, if you're just
think
covering
this
for
is in
Les
that same
Hudson
office
or
building.
Les
Alex.
and Alex aren't in today. I swear, I don't
I think
know
it was a real
how this
estate
guy...
building, and the
Thanks.
Yeah, one of those things we could get on the weekend when they weren't
Yeah, a
weren't
lot of
actually
stuff
doing
like that,
business.
yeah.
No, all it says is
I'm trying to think, was this? I think we shot the restaurant part almost last, so this is all the days, the weeks or so lead, because we were in the restaurant for 5 days,
Right.
and that's the only time we could get it. So, this is, Pamela lived in New York, so I think we brought her in 2 or 3 weeks early and did rehearsals and knocked out some of these other scenes. Actually,
Actually, some of this was a little more difficult because you had several different locations. Once we
Yeah.
got to the restaurant, we could sit for days and
Yeah.
get everything else done.
we were on the move here. But do you remember, later on, the scene in the bathroom at the restaurant with Melissa Combs, which we'll get to, but we actually shot it in the restroom, because this one had a nice big restroom and stuff. So we actually shot that scene
About the same.
in this office building.
We sure did.
So yeah, so we had to put, because Pamela had 2 looks. This is like her business look. Then she had her clubbing look for later on when she was dolled up. So we probably
she
did
thinks
it.
she's going on a date with her
Yeah.
husband. Yeah.
So I think what we did was probably did the bathroom shot last, because we had to take her makeup all the way down, redo her hair, redo her makeup to doll her up, even though she's always beautiful. But yeah, that's fun. So that scene was shot in this office building.
Okay, well, now...
So this is when she's coming around. She's got the invitation from from someone saying he's Jesus of Nazareth, and she thinks it's Matt's way of telling her a joke, being
Trying
funny.
to be playful and
make fun
and
of the
make
neighbors, yeah.
make up with each other.
So
yeah.
she thinks she's going to her favorite Italian restaurant, Peppino's. What's Peppino? That's a restaurant where we got engaged. The night we got engaged, we went to a restaurant in Kentucky called Peppino's. Again, a lot of these are made up of crew members, all the people filling this restaurant, which we had so much to do. It's like this restaurant was called Timothy's. It was a restaurant that had been closed for a long time, and it was getting ready to reopen. And we talked to the owners and said, before you start moving in and renovating, can we have it for a week? So we got it for 5 days. So.
They were very generous.
Very,
and this was
very
this is
generous.
actually in Indiana.
But in Jeffersonville, Indiana. But we had to bring a lot of things in. But this was this big room we had to fill with people. I think this was the most people we had in the shot. David Gregory's head just went. David Gregory, the book author, he was in town the first couple of days of shooting to make sure we were doing things. So we said, come be in this scene. So now we move into a smaller room. It's a little bit easier to set because there's not as many seats.
Hi. I'm Jesus.
I'm Jesus. There's the line. So
Where's Matt?
Say by now he's probably sitting behind the dugout at Wrigley. Enjoy your dinner. Thanks for meeting me. I'm really glad you were freed up.
So right, we had some of these
Am I
people that
supposed to
had
know
to be
you?
there for days
Good
in the
question.
same spot.
yeah, these were our main people. So we had to come there and say, okay, because
I'm sorry,
in the
as far
course
as
of
I
a
can
dinner,
remember, I've never met
you're
you.
not gonna have a lot of swap outs. So this is great. This is just when Nikki's.
Let's just start over.
The first thing is I thought I was meeting my
name
husband,
is
and here's this guy that's been waiting for you, and yeah.
Your
You're
family.
like, how long is this practical joke going to go on?
So,
Actually, I only grew up there. Wasn't born there.
No, that would have been in...
Beth.
but like I said, he
Oh,
was
okay.
it was written and I played it the same way that it was written
I've got better things
in the
to do
novel
than
that we
waste
did
my
in the
time on some
screenplay. He goes straight to it and says who he is. He doesn't make her try to figure anything out.
Who put you up to this?
I know I'm not quite what you were expecting.
Did my neighbors set this up?
Is this what that church does? Hire some actor to tell people he's Jesus?
It's gonna be hard
Is
to
it
keep
some
competent
creative
because I
recruiting
haven't
tool
watched
they
this in
use?
just a little
'Cause I gotta
while,
tell you,
so
pal, your
I just
costume
get
is
caught up
not
in
exactly
Pam's
historically
performance.
I was thinking the same thing.
So it's like,
because
okay, I
it's been a
can't-
while and I love it.
Can't just sit here and stare at the screen. We've got to.
Who wouldn't find dinner with Jesus meaningful? Just last
But
week,
we had
I
to keep
breakfast
and she's a
with Nicole
sweet
and it was a
girl,
blast.
and she plays sweet roles
I
on
gotta
the
get home
stage.
to
So
my
we kind of
family.
said, you got to be a little tough. You kind of got to be a little unlikable at the end. That's that's the
I think-
direction.
yeah, you got to start off being pretty tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the direction I gave her. It's like,
who set it all up.
right. You got to chip away.
and
at
here
it.
this is something else that we had that wasn't in the novel. It's like, okay,
You know, it just
what's
so
in it for me? I get a
happens
free
that I got
dinner, and my husband's out, so hey,
tonight.
I'm gonna have dinner with another man. We didn't play it up that way, but that's
Right.
basically what she's doing. so.
Right, like,
he's
yeah.
going to a Cubs game. I'm gonna sit here and get a free meal.
To the wine, sir.
But I love that line. She said,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, I'm gonna stay, but if you try anything, I swear."
Here's some wine.
Yeah.
And then she's
I'll
more like,
play
"Yeah,
along.
I'll take the
Sure.
most expensive bottle of wine you have.
Yeah.
Sure then. I'll take a bottle
That's
of
that's Tom Luce
the-
playing our waiter. We'd
98
originally
millimeter.
tried to cast
Obviously know your wines.
our friend. There's Tom. To cast our friend Matt Wallace. Simply, they're both great actors, he and Tom. But Matt looked Italian. You know, I
Right.
was trying to keep that going, and Matt had some conflicts. He's an actor, and so Tom did it. And Tom did a great job. There's Steve Hodge, one of our producers' husband. And all he's got there is Monica Harden, who was Miss Kentucky.
Yeah.
Felt like a show. Oh yeah, I'd love to do a movie. I would love to do a movie. So yeah, that'd be fine.
All the people in the background were really fabulous because, like I said, some of these people had to be there
Right.
for days, and they were very generous with
Yeah.
their time. And
They were, and everybody got paid, but nobody got rich.
oh
So
no, not
we
by
didn't
any
just.
means.
I didn't feel right going to
So, your family
somebody and
called you
saying,
Yeshua.
I need you to work for free. So everybody on this shoot, it was a professional shoot. Everybody was paid, but they
You turn
they
this
weren't made
wine
rich
back to
on
the
it. So we really appreciate people working below.
No problem.
And here's where we see he's going to mess with her head just a little bit.
One of
My
many
friend here
times.
has
One of
decided she'd
many,
rather
many
have a glass
times,
of
yeah.
water instead of this wine.
Certainly, sir.
Never mind.
Never mind. Give me back that good one.
Very
So we were there for about 5 days, and
Thanks, Eduardo. Sorry to bother you.
You on a first name
one thing
basis with
going
the entire
into
wait
it,
staff?
I knew from the start that this was really just a movie. This was a movie about two people talking in a restaurant for about almost 90 minutes.
So what do you think?
And even I said, I didn't know what to expect,
Thinking
how
of
this
a
was going to
married
be
woman
perceived
who's
or anything. I
crazy
said, at
for
the end
not
of the
leaving
day,
when she
this
had
is
the
still
chance.
a movie with two people
back
talking.
to
That's a
work.
lot.
Oh.
And so I
Which is part of why you didn't
Staying
want
on
it to
the
be two
manicotti.
guys.
Right, and also I went to our
Try to
DP and
stand
stuff.
them.
I said, the camera has
Friday?
almost got to be a third character here. We need a lot of camera angles. We can't just go back and forth over the shoulders. So
Yes,
Um,
I'd like the stuffed
during the
mushrooms,
5 days, we
Mediterranean
laid
salad,
dolly
and the
track.
manicotti.
We
And I'd
had
like
different
the tomato and
setups.
artichoke soup, the
But in
tortellini
interest of time
salad,
and money,
the salmon fillet.
we would shoot, like we would be on the dolly track with the camera that was going around the table. Remember, we would shoot 30 pages of dialogue that way.
So-
Then we would turn the camera around and do those
Tell me
same
about
30
your family.
pages again.
I thought you knew everything.
And what I
already.
thought,
Here we
What
go.
you
See, it's
humor
moving
me.
right now.
yeah, see, it's moving
your
because
family
the
from?
camera had to be interesting.
Oh,
And
no. I'm
I said,
much more
Kevin,
interested in hearing about
any
your
different
family,
angles
Jesus.
that you've got on
Why
how
don't
to
you tell me
shoot
about
this?
Joseph and Mary?
Because we can't settle in
Growing
and
up
say,
in
okay,
Nazareth wasn't anything like
because
growing up
it
in
would just get too
Cincinnati, I can tell you
tedious.
You have to keep it visually
They give
interesting,
me a foot long
right?
hot
As far
dogs
as
at Riverfront Stadium.
Yeah, even just looking at Pam's beautiful
Joseph
face
was a
goes
good
so far.
father.
So
He had a shop right next to the house, but he did things at a leisurely pace. I think the only time he ever spent
Remember, I'm in a
was
borrowed
when he was trying to
suit.
finish a project before I could get
oh
my hands
yes,
we have
our other friend.
on it. I
we
didn't
have
realize
a
at the
friend
time
who's
just how many
very well
pieces I
off and
used to mess
stuff
up.
and
Look,
has
at
a
8 years
lot.
old, I
I've
was
never
exactly
been a
what you
suit
would call a
guy,
master
so
carpenter.
I've never invested in it. Plus,
You're
I don't think
good.
we had much. Just starting out, I was a working actor and stuff, so I knew he had an Armani suit, and I said, can I borrow
So
it?
how about Mary?
And for
I mean,
this.
wasn't it difficult having such a pious
And he was
mom?
very nice to let me borrow it for
She
a
was
week, and
hardly
we took it to a dry
pious.
cleaner. But he's
More like an
probably
outcast when
about
I was young.
a couple inches taller than
Back
me.
then,
So what you
being
can't see
pregnant
is
wasn't exactly what
everything
people call
fits
lazy.
pretty well. Of course, I'm sitting down, but the pants are about
You know, from what
that
I
much
see,
too
whether
long.
she's
So
either nursing the
But that's
baby
okay.
Jesus or taking
So,
him
yeah,
down
we
off
had
the
our-
bus. Did she do anything in between?
I had a great
see, that was one little move there. Like, you know, the camera was looking in this direction as, you know, as the man walked through. So we may not turn the camera around until tomorrow. So he had to come back the next day and finish the walkthrough. So it's little things like that you just don't think about.
With the continuity
You
too.
haven't
Yeah.
told me
You have to-
anything that someone with a Bible and half an imagination couldn't make up. You're gonna have to come up with something a little better than these sappy
And
mom
it
and
kind
pop
of starts things
stories.
back on.
To do what?
Do you want to turn that fan back on? You can
You
turn
know,
the fan.
one night on CNN, Larry King
Just
said
Kelly,
that of all
Kelly's
the
gonna step
stories
away.
Turn the
We
fan
need
on.
to turn a fan on in
most
here.
like
So
to interview is Jesus Christ. I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
this routine with the retread
Okay.
Bible stories has been a little less than intriguing.
You guys don't care if we don't.
So
spoil
I'll
it.
yeah. So I'll
Much
yeah.
I
This
can
is
actually
we're watching a
say
movie
adventure
together.
than Jesus.
So
Well,
one
there's
thing
one
though
true
is
statement.
So how about we do this?
I'll
How
watch
about
this and
you suspend
I'll
your
we
disbelief
stayed
just
really
for the
close to the
I'm gonna proceed as if I
to the
really
novel
am
when I did the
Jesus.
screenplay. But I'll listen to a line sometime and I'll think, okay, did I write that or did David Gregory write that?
Oh, I love that too, because if someone compliments you, if they say, "Oh, I love this
Oh,
part,"
yeah,
I love this
part.
line, he's like, "Oh, did I come up with
The
that?
other
Or
day,
was
I
it great?"
passed a church, and the sign out front said,
Here's where we
"No
get
one
into it.
comes
Like
to
in the
Father
in the
except
novel,
through me." Signed, Jesus.
the Nick, the
Now, did he actually say that?
what do you call it? The
Because
main
if he
character
did, I think he
was
said
worked for an environmental company. Was like I'm not sure if it was if he was like a lawyer for the environmental company or not, or just a representative. So when I made the character a woman, Nikki,
Oh, you're not
the other
gonna
thing I
dance
did
with
was
the
I
same
made her an
blessing, are
attorney
you?
because I thought
I just like to say a word of thanks.
of
before
who's going to be more argumentative.
Not all.
Oh
So
yeah,
there's a sexism, but no, just
right. An attorney.
An
Someone's
attorney,
used
yeah,
to
is gonna
debating
be-
ideas. And,
yeah, and it's going to be debating and making and clearing facts and things. I thought that would just be and then a man woman. You've got that natural. So
That's it?
Oh,
Was something else you wanted to say?
No, I think that covered it.
that always got a laugh.
So what
We
about that? No
we
one
were
comes
really
to the Father
eating.
except
We
through
were
me,
really
Jesus.
eating the food and
Why do you
stuff.
think I'm mistaken?
Kim Ryan
Because you've got
was
all
our
these
props
people around
person.
the
She was
world
also
who
sat
have
over
different ways of
giving us
worshiping
edible
God,
food to
and
come
you're
out
saying
and
that
stuff.
only
Now I'm not
Jesus
saying I
ways
don't
the
know
right
about
way?
everybody else in the restaurant.
problem
They
with that
may
is-
have
A lot.
because we need again
to say
we didn't
that
have a lot of
Jesus'
money for
ways
props,
are better
so
than
we couldn't come up
Muhammad's
with
or
consumable
Buddha's or
foods. I think we've
Hinduism.
got fake food, and we would throw
we have like real bread.
yeah we throw
things like
saltine
that.
or something on it just so they
Some
could
real bread,
people
some
in the
real
background.
drink,
Yeah.
but the pasta and things like that were fake.
It was
Yeah,
true for
yeah.
them.
And before Copernicus.
Plus, they were sitting out there for hours and hours.
It was false, but it worked for them.
Something else
Why that
technical
was?
about this that I'm just
I
now
don't think it mattered
remembering.
much back
There's
then.
no
Before
lights on
Columbus,
the
nobody traveled
floor.
far enough for it to be a problem.
Kevin, the
What would happen
DP,
if someone
and
tried
his
to
crew
They'd be in for
took
a big
about a day and a
surprise.
half lighting this
Point is,
thing because
people believe
we were going to be
it
moving
was
around,
false,
moving the
but
camera so
some people jumped
much,
through, it was
and
bound to not
time
work
is
if you
money.
So?
That I said all the lights need to be up because we can't move
business law,
lights,
not
so we can move the
philosophy.
camera and move the
Well, you
track
still
and
have
whatnot. So I said all the lights get up. So if you just look right at a frame.
Alright.
Maybe a foot over our heads. There is a
What you're
huge
saying
globe
is
light
that
hanging
even if the
down,
belief system
and they're
works
all
for
over the
someone, if
place.
it's
And then we've
false,
kind of
it
got
will
fill
eventually
lights
break
going
down.
on
And you don't
from
want
different
places that
places.
ultimately
But that's
drive
just one
people
thing that you
wrong.
do to save time
Remember
and
that class
money.
you took at
That you're
UC
not
one
constantly
on
moving
road
lights
releases?
stand. So the
How
lights
did
kind of
you
stayed
What did that
fixed
class teach you about
through the
nature,
entire movie.
how
You
it
know, I think
squares
you
up
could
with
dim
what's
them,
known
but
about the universe?
And you should talk about how many
remember
pages
correctly,
a normal movie does, and how
Hinduism
many you
teaches
guys
that the
did.
universe
I've never
is
been-
You
an
guys, the
extension of
dialogue, the
universe
amount of
force
dialogue, and how
called
much they did this so quickly.
our
is
movies aren't
phenomenal.
normal, so I can't
The
speak to
ultimate
that. But a lot of pages in
Right,
in a
and
single
there is
day
no one
is
separate
I would think
And how
10
long
would
has
be a
our
big
universe
load.
existed?
according to
Yeah.
the Hindus.
And since this was all
always existed.
dialogue,
And how does
You
that
know,
match up with what modern
we were
astronomers
knocking
have
out
discovered?
20 and 30 pages because the
well,
more
I
pages
guess.
we could do on one camera,
I
we
did
didn't have to
read
move the
an
camera
article
as
once that
much.
said all the evidence points to the universe having a definite
So
start.
yeah, but again, it
So if
goes to
Hinduism
that
is
Pam
true,
and I
then how
both
did the
came from
universe get
stage,
here?
so we're not used to having cuts,
I don't
and we're
know.
used to memorization. Because in stage, you don't get to cut in the middle and then
I don't
do
know.
anything. You do it from start to end, and we're
right.
getting now only a little bit more into the debates.
How about
You know,
something a little
he brings
closer
up,
to
she
Christianity?
brings up a fact, and
Islam.
he does his side. Because I didn't want,
The Bible. So who's to say that their version is wrong and Jesus is right?
part of what appealed to me about
It would all
this
depend
is
on whether or
like,
not God actually
there's
spoke
like
to
the
Muhammad.
Jesus character.
Well, you put on
Jesus
one
is not a
man's
character,
Well, you
but
could say the same
in
thing
this
about
film,
Christianity. It all
the character I
depends
was
on whether or
playing,
not
I didn't,
God
you know, it's
spoke
not
to
just,
you.
I am who I am.
The
So
Bible has over
take
40
that.
authors that span
He makes a
1500 years, all
case.
the
You know,
same
that's what
message.
appealed to me about the novel I read.
He answers all
He
the
makes a
questions.
factual
Well, if you do got a
case
few
that
things
says
wrong,
1 plus
like
1
what?
is 2.
For starters, Muhammad wrote that I was never
You know, you don't have to have faith to say that.
God's
1 plus 1 is 2. That doesn't
straight
deserve
to
faith.
heaven.
That is facts. He's doing the same thing. He is creating historical facts.
Maybe Muhammad was right.
Because the historical Jesus is just as strong and worthy as the faith, the biblical Jesus is like, okay, history backs up.
There.
But you don't
This
have to ask
man
me.
was here. This man
My
was executed.
crucifixion is
This
historically
man
documented by Christians and
was seen
non-Christians.
after he was
He is who
executed.
he says
That's
he
the
is.
alive,
problem
yeah.
with Islam.
So,
What else is there?
but he does it in a nice way.
What's your deepest desire?
He's so friendly
Sure,
with
I
it.
wanna
I
get
just
into
love the
that.
approach we took with
Let's
this.
talk in generalities.
And
What
that,
do
like, and like
people's
here,
hearts
that he
long
kind of
for?
makes her think things
I don't know.
through,
Yeah.
so that she can
Big screen
understand. He's
TV.
not just throwing things at her.
Yeah. Shane called that my Muppet look. The eyebrow
I
going up.
suppose people's greatest
That's a good
desire
look.
is
Yeah.
to be loved.
I don't mean to be too personal, Nikki. But in your experience, has another person ever completely fulfilled that need for love?
Matt's a good husband.
That's not what I'm
And, you know,
asking.
and this has remained our most popular movie. And it was our first one we did way back when it kind of started. But I think of all of our films, of course, we're proud of all of our films, and different people like different films for different things. But if you have to say which one is your most popular, it's still this one, which is funny because over the years,
But the Muslims never had that.
the technology's gotten better. We shot this on a
Right.
broadcast camera.
He's just someone to
And then we
worship
took it
and
out to
serve from far away,
California
even
and
in
used a new
paradise.
technology called film look just to make
Why
it look
would
this
God create
good.
mankind
Right.
with this deep
But, you
need
know,
to be loved?
But it's the one we spent the less and shot the quickest, and
Yeah,
Maybe
we
the
yeah.
Muslims don't have
and
to.
And real-
again, nobody knew what they were doing.
We didn't really know what we were doing.
No, they don't.
But and again, you know, somebody, you know, a film professor told me one time,
Well,
not
if
my
nobody
film
has all the
professor because I
answers,
didn't go to
then
film school,
maybe-
but said, you know,
maybe
it's
God
not
doesn't even
the
exist.
equipment,
Maybe
it's the
this world
story.
really is
And
all there is. Have you ever
that
considered
sounds
that?
good, you know, on a bumper sticker, but I
But
really
there's
believe
not
that.
a better story.
What, that there's
Because I
no
mean,
way
I'm
that
not
it could
gonna.
happen
Because
by
we don't really
accident?
date ourselves. We
You know about the black hole
we don't.
theory?
We made a wise choice.
You know
We
the
don't have
odds
cell
calculated
phones
by
because
the
this
guy
was
who
back
came up
during
with
flip
that
phone
theory?
phone
Accident
time.
creates such an
So
order.
if we had shown that, they would have dated it
Yes.
so much.
Right.
I don't know.
But other than that, we've really kind of, you know, the hairstyles, the clothes, everything is pretty.
Right, because everything's pretty classic on that.
But still, if you look at it, yeah, it's got the look of something that was made several years ago.
All
But
right,
nobody
we've
said it,
managed
but
to
it's
poke
still
a couple
fake.
holes in these other
So, you know,
religions.
we still get reviews on,
Seems to
you know,
me
on
every
Amazon and
religion,
other places
Christianity
that were,
included, they're just
literally
different
last
roads
week.
to the same place.
And here,
I mean,
what
everyone
it's
is looking for God.
2025.
Really?
So people are discovering it still and not saying, hey, if it didn't look like it was made long ago, I would have enjoyed it. They said, no, I love the dialogue. I love the points she made. I'm going to show this to my mom. I'm going to
As
show
I'm
this to
saying,
my cousin.
Everyone is looking
It's
for
shown
God
in
in their
prisons.
own way.
Which is
Oh,
huge.
that's one of
My
our
friends
favorite
Yeah,
back
ones.
home,
which
they
is
embraced
huge. I mean,
everybody's
it's-
different beliefs and tried to help them
It's
on
like,
their path
you
to
know,
God.
because everybody,
The problem with that.
you know, it's like,
What?
that's why we marketed it as an independent film. We didn't independent it as a churchy film because I didn't want to lose half my audience right off the bat. So it's an independent film. Like it's in the vein of My Dinner with Andre.
And if people that aren't Christian just start watching and not realizing, we're hoping that they'll keep watching. And now we've got some rain.
Oh, we've got rain
that's-
ambiance. Okay, that's extra.
Because we have had people
we
that
threw
have told
that
us
in.
that too, where they would turn it on in the
So what
middle
did you
or
mean?
whatever
Yeah.
There's
on
no
TV,
path to
and
God.
they weren't necessarily
Every
interested
religion
in
claims
this,
to
Yeah.
teach
yet
the
they
way
were
of God.
they were drawn
way
into
to
it, and so
Yeah.
we want to reach people with it, obviously.
What I mean is
There's
this
Lindsay Willinger back there.
is something that you travel by your own effort to reach a destination.
Beautiful actress, singer. Yeah, she hung out with us for a week.
Oh, she did great
Our
because
niece
she was one
Lauren
of our
worked
main.
on it. We shot this
Wait a
week.
minute. That's what
October,
religion is all
February. So it
about.
was.
Trying to get to God.
I remember it was always dark
How
when we went
can
to
you
work
possibly
and
say
dark
otherwise?
when we
Right.
came home because
That
it
the
was
time was short.
it was in
Are
daylight
you
savings
changing
time,
the
so it
subject?
would get dark at 4 o'clock and we would go to work at 5 a.m. Plus,
I don't think
we didn't know
this
you're not
place
supposed to
stays
work
open long enough
20
for
hours and
trouble
get 2
after.
hours sleep and come back the next day. I mean, we did not see the daylight,
Yeah.
except like at lunch break.
And we knew that.
Well,
Everybody
when
knew
we
that
were on
going
vacation,
in. It's
Yeah.
going to be 4 or 5
I
days
dumped a
of
milkshake
no
on
sleep
my
and
little
just
sister's
working
head.
hard and get it done before they kick us out.
What did your dad do?
Yeah.
Well, he
And Pam did a good job.
Pulled
We
over,
we probably
put me over
rehearsed
his
this
knee,
more
and
than
gave me
any
the
other
worst
movie we
spanking I ever
rehearsed, just
had.
because we had so much dialogue, and I knew we were going to be making long stretches. So
Mom
Pam
just
and
got
I,
that was-
she was in New York, so
But he
she
didn't
came
spank us
in
very
about a week or so before we started filming, and
his
we
way of
rehearsed.
handling things, I guess.
She had a condo there
He was
in
bigger on
Louisville where we were
making us
staying.
understand
And
why
you know,
what
you and
we
I would
did
go
was
over and we'd
wrong,
usually make dinner, and then she and I would
apologizing to the
rehearse the
other
rest of the
person,
night.
especially if it was mom.
So your dad never
Because
had a problem
especially
with
as an independent film, when time is
so?
money,
Well,
it's like there's no time to
both
explore
focused on
when you're
restoring
there and
relationships.
you've got all these people on the payroll.
your
So
dad
you basically
made
got to
you
shoot the
admit that you
movie
hurt someone and
in
then
your head and
apologize.
on paper before you show up to
You
set. There's not a lot of
relationship.
room for let's try this, let's try this. So
Guess I never
and
thought
Pam
of
got
it.
with that,
And
which
that's exactly how it is
God
with
bless her.
God.
Just love
Isn't
Pam.
Interesting
But
people have
we
authority
rehearsed
brought
it
up
and
for
stuff, and we just talked about. And I
do
said,
that
you know, my
anyway.
character's not going to change.
God created
Yours
people
has
with
got
a
to show all
relationship with
the
him so they could
movie
enjoy his love.
hinges on the change you go through from how we see you at the
So why
beginning
don't
till the end. I said, so you can't let too much
Man
go
rejected
too
him,
fast.
severed the
And she was
relationship.
perfect with it.
God's
Oh,
whole
she was
program, if you
incredible.
want to
Especially
call it,
like on these
is all
long
about
run,
bringing
on these
back together.
30-page runs, there's no time to stop and say, okay, Pam, start being nice now.
Tell me this.
She just played it
When
great,
Sarah
and I
was
think
involved,
the rehearsals paid off,
how
because I
many
think we
dishes
really
did she have to wash
we really
before she
developed a
could
chemistry.
get up in your lap and
You,
get a
you
hug
can
again?
see her feeling her way through it all.
Well, then how many A's will she have
Yeah,
to
she
make
had such
school?
expressive eyes, and
That's silly.
Why?
Because she doesn't have to do anything.
and this is something
She's
too.
my
Pam is
daughter.
young. She was playing. Pam was 23 at the time, and she was playing at least.
30.
You'd have to be at least 30 and stuff. And what, you know, she looks young, but the way she carried herself, I mean, she was believable. Yeah, I've got a kid. I'm a mom. You know.
Right, right. Which, yes, which
Laura
is.
Wag. There's Kathy Hodge, one of our producers. Kathy's table.
So you're saying that we
We didn't
can't
take a
do
lot of
anything
time when
on
insert
God's love?
shots, but anytime we would have a break for lighting
Sure.
or whatever, I would tell Tim or whoever had a camera, just get some shots, just
Okay.
get us some insert shots, because you need a way to change up your scenes. You need a way if you
No?
have a snafu, you need to get it bailed out.
They're never sure
This
if
was an
someone
angle that
praying or fasting or making
we only
pilgrimages
used this
or
camera
healing
angle
the
one
poor.
time,
Just
and
ask them to tell you the
I
same
think it
thing.
worked. It gave us another
And the
perspective.
Hindus,
But
they
we
don't
actually
know
saw
how
it in the
many
movie
lifetimes it
called
takes to successfully work out the
shoot, it was a Mel Gibson movie. I can't. The title escapes me now. But
Christianity
M. Night
is no
Shyamalan
different. I
did
mean,
it, and it was a.
No
It's
one
basically a
never
straight
really
on, straight
know if
on
they've been good enough to make it in
camera
heaven.
Well,
angle.
they can know that for certain. The answer is no.
But we knew we could only use it one time. So
Right, because it's
Doesn't
more
make it to heaven,
kitschy,
no matter how
more
hard they try.
artsy.
yeah,
But
yeah, and you couldn't
you're
couldn't
saying
watch
that
the entire
doing
90
all the
minutes
right
this way. So there
things,
just
like
really had to be a
keeping the
peppering.
10 Commandments and not cheating on your taxes won't get you into heaven? Oh, sorry.
That's right. Keeping the Ten
And
Commandments
that's just an
won't get you
example. I
in
love
heaven.
all the little things that just shows the
Why do
human
that?
side.
Oh yeah,
of
Jesus
it, you know.
eats. I mean, Jesus the man eats, and so he has a mouthful when you're trying to talk
The
to him.
moral fabric of the universe. With God on one side and everybody else
I
on
love
the other.
this.
That was great.
There's no way you can get to the other
And of
side.
course, I cannot perfectly tear a napkin that way. It was
Only God
it was
is big.
pre-cut on the other side to where I just barely had to pull. And see that shot right there is a camera move.
Right.
There's Dr. Terry. There's our
There's our
niece
niece Lauren.
Lauren. There's Alexis. Her mom was a co-producer. But yeah, it was just
Who'd you
this
say is the best
busyness,
person in
and
the world?
who was our AD on
Excuse
this?
me?
This was Terry Swan
Morally
was our AD,
speaking,
and
who's
so
the best
she had a
person you
lot
can
of
think of?
work.
Living
She's the
or
one.
dead.
Every time somebody walks across, just to make it look like
Somebody
a
like
working
Mother
restaurant throughout
Teresa,
the
I
night, because at
guess.
some point in time,
Right.
we had because people had to start
Say this.
swapping in, like turning
Right.
the table, like in a real restaurant.
Oh,
So,
who's the worst?
Gosh.
so that's something because
Osama bin Laden,
Shane and I
Jeffrey Dahmer,
divided up
Hitler.
the
Okay.
directing duties. He was going to be more for camera and looks and things like
That's Hitler.
background artist, and I said I want to be more on the
Where would you say that
performances.
you
That's how we
found
divided it
place
up.
on
So really, for most of this, it was just me and Pam.
If I say
Right.
I'm
You know, it
Mother
was this,
Teresa,
and
then I'll appear vain.
And
but
Shane
if I
and,
put
and
myself
Terry,
with
the
Hitler,
AD,
then
did a
well,
brilliant job here of
forget it.
sending, I think that's John Howard, that's one of our
How
PAs
about-
back there, just so we looked like we had a wait staff. I think we had 2 uniforms, and we kept rotating them with other people.
What do I win?
Oh, and the thing too, because you all are just having dialogue
gonna show you how
throughout,
you
so
measure
anybody
up in the
that's
eyes of
walking
God.
through, you have to keep up with that
Yeah.
dialogue and know this
So
is
this
the
would be
line
totally
that you're
accurate.
supposed to cross because
We
you
had to
got
place
to, for
these 3
continuity,
Yeah.
they have to keep doing it the same way
Yeah,
every
if that had
time.
been my job to
So
keep up
that's
with
a
that.
lot to keep up with. It looks like nothing when somebody walks across, but they might have done it 12 times,
Yeah.
and
Are
they
you
have to
saying
keep
that
doing it at the same
God,
time.
Mother Teresa and Hitler are essentially the same?
Oh no! Hitler was horribly evil. Mother Teresa did many good things.
This was from
What
the
I'm saying
novel.
is
I
that
think we
Mother
may have
Teresa,
updated
all
as far
her
as who the
goodness,
villains
no
were. We
closer
used
bridging the gap
Bin
to God
Laden,
than
of course
Hitler
Hitler's always good.
Both of them based on
But
their
as
own
far
merits,
as
were still
talking about
not
the
worth
distance
the
between
fight.
us and
So that's
God
why you
and how
said that
Jesus
keeping
gaps
the
that
Ten
distance,
Commandments won't
that's
get
kind of an
us
old
ahead.
argument, but the way
Because no one
David
ever kept
Gregory
well enough,
put it into the
because
book,
God's standard is
it
perfection.
worked dialogue-wise, and it made
that's
for a great
reassuring.
scene here with the
You won't
salt
want
and
it any
the
other
sugar
way.
and the pepper.
What's that supposed to mean?
Would you really want the universe to be run by someone who wasn't all about
Okay,
a
of
perfect
course,
system
this
of
is not my
justice,
favorite
a
shot.
perfect brand of holiness?
If I can
Why
even
not?
say
Perfect
anything,
holiness
if
is
I had
the
to do
last
all
thing I
over
need to deal
again.
with.
So you would want
Now
a
it's great of
universe where
Pam because
crime goes
Pam has a normal
unpunished,
profile. I do
where
not.
someone who harms Sarah
Of course.
gets off scot-free.
Yeah, I think I'm believable as being Jewish. Yeah.
Not
So-
It looks
everyone is
great.
as bad
I
as
love
Bin
it.
Laden.
No, but everyone.
And again, this is
Especially because the way they're going back and forth,
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah,
shot.
it is,
Really,
yeah.
it works.
it's like a tennis.
Fair
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
God
yeah.
sees
It
everyone
plays.
in the
That,
same
that's
way. I
vanity
mean,
talking, I guess.
some people are just worse
There's a
than
beautiful
others.
shot with
God will
the
handle
with the
them
soft
all for you.
background.
But that's just the whole point, Nikki.
But yeah, and this is again just like the straight on shot. We talked. We knew we could only use this one time.
Oh yeah.
So we had to be very selective. It's like, this was about good. This is about
This is a
basic
good
God
place
and
to put it.
good and evil.
But I thought
You know,
God is
absolute
forgiving.
good versus evil.
With this perfect justice thing, you're saying that God can't forgive anyone.
God is
But it's
forgiving
like
more
it's
than
just
anything
building
else.
this
God
cake,
wants to
this
forgive
layer of
people so they
cake
can
and stuff.
return
First
for
of
it.
it, I'm
But
not, I'm not a crackpot,
desire to
but
forgive
even if you think
can't
I am,
override
stay for
His
dinner.
perfect
And we
justice.
got through that hurdle. Then she tried to
Well,
bust his
that's
chops,
the penalty
trying
for
to
breaking God's laws.
poke holes in his story,
penalty
and then
for
a little more. And it was just like building a cake. Like again,
Yeah.
I can't take credit. That was the novel that
What
built
has
that
to
cake.
happen before he'll take us back?
And then now she's starting to get inquisitive. Now she's actually wanting.
She's not in that argumentative mode so
Yeah.
much.
Which
Now
you
she's starting
already
to
said they
get
can't do.
curious
Yeah.
and inquisitive.
But she's still not totally sold. I think
Right.
she is still just
God's
making
other
pleasant
option
conversation
is to
while
take the
she's
penalty of
getting a
death
free
on
meal.
himself.
Right.
So yeah.
How can he do that?
He's God. The Creator is always greater than the creation. And for the Creator to take on the penalty of death for himself.
Again, the points he
That
makes are
satisfies
so
perfect
relevant, and they're going to be relevant 50 years from now.
But if he's
If we're
already
still around.
perfect
Um,
and holy,
Well, and that
why
goes
would
back
he
to why I
want to do
think
that?
this is such a popular
say
movie.
When Sarah
Because
is 20 years old,
It is
she falls
great.
in with a
There-
bad
It's
bout of
hard to
hooked on
answer
heroin.
questions for people
Painting
that
a
are
really cheery
like
picture
Nikki.
there, Jesus.
Yeah.
They can watch this
Just stay
movie
with me.
and
Now,
you know what
while
I'm
she's
saying?
on
Yeah,
the
it's
you
very
have
relevant.
somebody
in
that
a
you love
sense
that
to
you
be
want to get
executed.
this message through. If they would like
Because
movies,
I've got a Jewish I've got a Jewish friend.
I'm sure I would.
I have several Jewish friends, but one in particular,
Because I
met
love
her
her.
back in the 90s.
and she does the
And
rest of her life to get
she said when
straightened
she
out
was
again
in
and
college,
happy.
and she had a lot of Christian friends, and
Don't you think
Naomi
God
said,
loves you
I went
at
to
least
college,
as
I
much
took
as
a
he loves
year
Sarah?"
of Christian studies as an elective because I wanted to see what they were talking
Maybe.
about. And she didn't convert, but she
I
just
really
said, I've
don't
got all these friends, and this is where we differ. I want to know what they've got going on, and so a lot of people.
That's why I made you in the first place.
Word got around. If
It is.
you want to just get an explanation,
But you're naturally
Uh,
separated from God because
check
of
out
bad
this movie.
stuff
And this
you
movie
Right.
did so well by
And
word
to
of
make good
mouth.
on
I
the
mean,
fact
we
that
had no
penalty has to
advertising
be paid
budget,
before you can be with God.
nothing out there. We
God
pretty
took
much
your
made it and then
penalty
tried to
on
figure out what we're going
himself.
to do with it. And
He died to pay
we
for
wound
it.
up. We did a limited
So,
theatrical on it.
What's the catch?
Again, all we could
What
afford,
does he
and
want from me?
got a
Just
few
trust
things
him
going there.
and
But
believe
then
in
we
the
got a
fact that he
cable
did die to pay your
broadcast,
penalty.
and that's when a lot of people saw it. And then it turned out record numbers of people saw it.
There's one thing I'm confused about.
and that's
The
back when
Bible
DVD
says
sales
that
were
Jesus
very
died
high.
on
Good
the
line
cross,
here.
not God.
Nikki, I am God.
I am God, and just her look. I mean, it's
Her
like
reaction is
like-
fabulous.
So everything's been built up to this point. She's like, okay, we're back to crazy.
And of course, here's one of my favorite scenes.
And this
up,
is the
too.
scene that we shot at the office building.
Exactly. This
Everybody
is
loves
great.
this scene. We'll just listen.
This guy just told me he's God.
They all do, honey.
The amazing Melissa Combs.
Just make sure he pays for dinner.
It never gets old.
And again, we shot that a week before we were moved to the restaurant. Pam just put herself in the moment so well. This is a good pivotal scene here. This, I'm not sure if this was in the movie or in the novel or not. I don't remember. But it's when she actually has a chance of, I can bail now, go home, and then she looks in there and sees him. You know, he's not going to run after me. And so, in this, like, this is great actress Pam. She's got this, he's crazy, he's nuts, he just said he was God, but I can leave if I want to. There's that exit sign, and then we see what she does.
She's just like, all right.
Prove it.
Excuse me?
Prove that you're God.
And just what would
So I
be
love it.
next?
She likes him
No
well enough at this
miracle or
point to
something?
give. I'll give you a
You
shot.
couldn't even turn the wine into water.
You prove
earlier.
it. Prove it. I'm an attorney.
So you're saying you
Prove
could
it.
have but chose not to?
And what if I had done it?
Well, it might have gotten my attention.
Then what? I'd like to try the
Tom's
strawberry
timing, just
amaretto
walking right in the
I
middle of an
know.
argument.
I was
Yeah.
just saying, I love it because so many times they're right in the middle of
Bring it.
something,
Yeah.
and he comes in and.
And we'll get to that later. You know, his reaction to everything he's overheard.
God could become a man.
Wouldn't you?
Maybe. Depends on what I expected from God.
Well, I don't expect him to look like he just got off work at Merrill Lynch.
No, I guess I wouldn't either.
And to be quite honest, I really don't believe that God just asks people to take a leap of faith that he
Here I am
exists.
just
You're
getting
right.
absorbed
God
watching.
always-
Yeah, here it is again. Yeah.
Then what proof
Again,
is
the
there that Jesus
it was the
God?
like I said, it was the dialogue. When I read the
God said
novel,
would happen.
novella, it was a short book. It was only about 110 pages. When I read the novel
Yeah,
back
some
in
of the
what
Nostradamus
2003,
stuff, but that's-
The
2004.
real prophet.
I mean, reading the page, I was dialogue. It's just going through my head. This is great. What's the question?
Well,
There's
the
the
guy I
answer. What's the
dated
question?
when
There.
I was
Oh,
a freshman
it's so.
actually got me
It was
to join
so
a Bible
well.
study,
David
and
Gregory just did a
I
masterful
remember
job.
one lesson they were talking about the prophets predicting that a Messiah would come, but
But now, and this is
don't
more.
remember them
This
saying anything about
this
him
is more the
being
academic
God.
That's
part.
because you were
This is when
obviously
he
more
gets into the
interested in
history
Tommy than the
part.
Bible study.
And how would you know that?
Because I was there.
Oh, and here's the little parts where he starts. You know, I was there when you.
Where
were
he
little.
knows
I know
things
what
about
she
her,
did.
yeah. He said something earlier about her being at Bengals games, and
Right.
and she looks a little uncomfortable with it. He knows, but now it's kind of commonplace when he tells her, "Well, I was there at your
Predicting
class."
my birthplace 700 years before it happened. One man writing about crucifixion.
Again,
hundreds
this
of
is
years
all
before the
history
Romans
facts here.
invented
This
it.
is look it up. It's
Still,
history.
all that does not mean that Jesus was God. Did you see that special that Peter Jennings did about the historical Jesus?
I know which one you're talking about.
Well, it said that he never
And we
claimed to be
never
the
heard from
Messiah,
Peter Jennings, did
much
we?
less God
No, we
himself.
did not.
It said that he struggled with his identity and he was killed for political reasons.
Mr. Jennings was.
That
really
is
concerned
interesting, though, when you say that about not hearing. I remember
In
you
truth,
talking about David
I
Gregory,
forgave
that
sins.
the
I
thing
accepted
with Muslims
worship.
and stuff. That
Yeah,
it was
because-
concerning, and people
I
were
raised
like,
the dead.
"Oh, do you really
I
want to put that
demonstrate
out
my
there?"
moral
And
Yeah.
and do you want
I
to
said
put that
I
in
existed
the
before
movie
Abraham,
because
and
that
I
could be
was one with the
dangerous?
Father
Well, it
and the
wasn't
giver of
anti-Muslim.
life.
It's
Now,
just
who does
he
that
just
sound like to you?
she told him make a case for Christianity.
Just because
She
claim to
told
be
that,
God
and he did.
doesn't mean that you are.
And
it does
in
mean
doing
that
that, she says, "Well, why not
You only have three
this
options.
religion? Why not this religion?" And
Either
he
it's
quietly
true.
says, "Well, here's where it doesn't
I was
hold water."
lying.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
There was no
it's-
attacking, but
Religious leaders don't claim to be God.
Anyway, but yeah, and we
People
made
distort
the
the truth
decision. We said,
mainly
"Are we going to
because
try to
they
be
reject this truth
PC
they were given."
when we put this out
What
and
proof is
say
that?
it's one big party, everybody, goes to heaven, or
Are we gonna tell the truth?
Are we going to put what was on the page?" And I believed, it was done well on the page, so that's what we did. And,
Crazy us, we decided to go with the
Sitting there,
truth.
Yeah, I mean, you
Obviously
worked on this. You still had a full-time job when we
claimed
did
that you were
this.
once
You were still
dead.
working in a bank, so you took vacation
hard for
time
me
to
to
work on
prove
this.
otherwise.
I was a working actor, so I didn't really
Well, I
have
go by
a
the
job.
facts.
Well, I think if I remember
What did Peter
right,
Jennings
like we were
mention?
here
What does
like
history say about it?
Thursday through Sunday, so I think
Yeah.
I took like a couple
Jesus
days
was
off.
Okay,
something like
so
that.
yeah.
person.
All right.
So you were doing
he was a
producer work,
teacher
but
with a large following,
Okay.
and that we know that the Romans executed.
nothing like you do now.
Brings us to the resurrection.
But you were very much a part of everything like
Well,
this. But it
according
was your
to the
first film too.
disciples,
But
Jesus rose from the dead. But of course, they would say that.
I actually was on script
Is that
during
what
this
they're
one.
expecting?
oh, that's
Because
right. Yeah.
we didn't have
I'm
a
not
script
sure.
supervisor, so
answer's
that
no.
was
That's
me.
right. Everybody does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I was actually on script,
You were on
which,
script. That's
They
right.
still
Yeah.
do.
which was
They saw
probably
me
the
in
most
person.
boring job because they both knew their lines.
There was a
over
couple of
there.
nice
Isn't
stories
it
because we did have a
possible
few
that they only
non-believers
thought that
on.
Jesus had
You know,
died?
we didn't do a litmus test.
So the Roman
We liked
executioners
somebody
let
come
someone down
work
off the
for
cross
us.
who was just badly
We didn't say,
injured.
okay, do you
And
you
3
accept the
days
Father,
later,
the Son? No,
I
we
recovered.
Well,
didn't
because
have
a lot
that.
of Christian
Miraculous.
filmmakers
Yeah,
don't,
that's why
don't
we've
do
always
that, and
avoided the
so-
label Christian,
Yeah.
Well, the
this, Christian,
disciples
that.
did have something to gain by claiming that Jesus was
But there were a
resurrected.
couple of
Like
people
having
on
the status
set
of starting a whole
working
new
with us in the
religious
crew that were
movement.
non-believers, and a couple
So
of
you're
our
saying
background artists.
That the men who spread
And
the
you know,
word about
afterwards they
God
said,
was the greatest
"Hey,
force for
I
good
never
the world
heard
has
it
ever
that
known.
way. I never.
We did all this
That was
based on
really
something
interesting
you
and
was
stuff.
on.
You know, we didn't preach to everybody. I think we did a prayer, but we would
They
pray.
heard this day after day, so
Yeah,
they had
so it's
plenty
like-
to think about.
Yeah,
and
which is
so
all
it's
we
just
really
great,
wanted to do
yeah.
with this movie. We never took the sledgehammer approach to an evangelical film like this. I mean, we make all kinds of films. We make comedies, we make things.
Things like
Some of
Crusade.
ours are more evangelical in nature that
The wars,
promote
the
questioning. And this is probably the biggest
Doesn't
one
it
of
seem like
those.
your followers
But
are
we never do it
devil
with
touched
ham-fisted.
clothes?
We never say, believe this or we're going to
Yes, it
punch you in the
does.
face. We say, think about this.
I can't tell you
Think
how
about
sad it
this.
makes me.
You had the same question she did. Listen to how
And
she
that's the
answered.
main thing about this is
Outwardly
Yeah.
we hope
religious.
that people will leave and want to think about
Yeah.
it
Never really
and know
trusted.
more if they don't
Never
already.
lived like the new people they were supposed to.
One thing I learned as an actor on this, again, this is my biggest role. I had roles in films
I mean,
leading other people's films
Can you
leading up to
honestly say
this.
that no real
But this is
Christians
definitely the
were
most
involved in any of these things?
on-screen time I've had to
Ideas,
date.
no.
But one thing I did learn, especially on those long passes, you know, dialogue and camera moves, was keep your movements. Because you know, if I took a bite after a word, I had to do it in the exact same spot every time for editing. And I didn't even know I was going to be the editor at this point. I was actually thinking of the editor who was going to do it.
Otherwise, heaven
Not knowing it was
would
going to
be
turn
full
out
of
to
a
be
bunch of
me.
forgiven sinners still
But-
running away from God.
Yeah, I did learn, and I learned quickly. It's like, okay,
what does he do about
don't
it?
do a lot of extra eating and bite. Maybe during the montages when there's no dialogue.
And if you take a really big bite, you got to keep taking a really big
Oh,
bite
yeah.
on the same
I think
place.
there were probably some outtakes of me and Pam at the first, like getting too much into it, and then having to like stop. I got a mouthful of food, so
Yeah.
we never had time to go
A
back
new
and do
heart
the
just gets you in the
outtakes.
game. After that, you have to let me be your coach.
This is where we kind of transition out of the history lesson into the.
Did you believe in what I did for you?
Personal.
Let's get into your personal. Let's take it from the academics. Now let's take it into you personally. What's going on with you?
What?
Live inside you. It's as close to God as you
I
can
love her
get.
reaction to that. I
The
mean, what?
last thing I need is God looking over my shoulder every minute.
He's already looking over your shoulder. What you need is him living in you every minute.
Why?
This was considered our master
For
shot
starters, how are you
That's the
ever
one
going to
that's
love your family unconditionally?
on most of the posters and
I
whatnot.
know you want to love man better.
But here's where it gets
Just don't
personal.
know
He's
how.
talking, calling her husband by name, knowing they've got problems at home. He talks about their
Only
little
God can
girl
love in
and
a special way, and
what's
he
her
wants to
life
live
going to
through you.
be like.
And knowing that if you try to do everything on your own, you're
Yeah.
going to fall short.
I try so hard, but
And now she's actually
things just
confiding,
aren't
and like
going
it's
well
like
with Matt. We just
you
get
can't
so
help yourself, and
irritated.
that's
with one
hard to
another.
explain to somebody who has not
You know, these things you're telling me.
let Jesus have a chance with them.
I've never really
It's hard to
heard
explain
them
to him
explain
because otherwise it just looks like, oh, you're doing hocus pocus.
I know.
But it's when you start trusting him, and this
My
is
message all
oh, he
jumbled.
knows about what's going on at work. He knows this,
Church
and
leadership,
And he cares.
power
Yeah.
structures.
this is just a
People were so
personification of
anxious
that. Is
to
what
reduce
this
God
is.
to a set of rules.
Isn't rules what he's all about.
But and, and again, I don't look at that. Whenever I see myself on screen, I never think
That's how
there's
people were originally
Jefferson
designed.
doing my job. I kind of get lost and I forget that's me, and I get critical, and it's like, oh, wow, what a good way to say that. Oh, that's me. I had played Jesus before this
That's what
for
Christianity is all about, then.
probably 3 or 4
Why
years
don't
at this point. I was still doing
Christians
it at this
just say
point.
so?
Every spring I did a Broadway scale passion play, in full biblical looks, and people responded to that just because of the way I did it with gentleness and the way I did it with humor. People said, I can't imagine Jesus laughing, but after seeing you do it, can't imagine Jesus punching somebody in the arm and pushing somebody in the bushes.
Got to show the gentle side and the sense of
So
humor.
all I did with this was I put it on a suit and had my own hair and no beard, And I think it translated. Again, I think that's what, and but I think if I was an atheist, I don't think I could have put that into the performance. I'm not that good. Our friend missing. There's lovely Lindsay again. Gave her a nice guy to act with, nice looking guy to act with across the table. Again, these people just hung. They sat for long hours listening to the same dialogue over and over.
And think about it too. If you'll notice, I mean, they all look engaged with the people that they are having dinner with. They never look over to see. I mean, they're totally focused. I mean, you guys, that is so hard to do.
Some of them were part-time actors. Some of them were no-time actors.
Right, and that is just hard to do for such a long period of time to look like you're actually engaged.
But remember, they were great. We would do a long speech, or we'd have like one of our big debates, and after we yelled cut, they would applaud. It was like, oh my gosh, we didn't even ask you to do that.
It's really not a matter of food or visual evidence. People have all the evidence they need. It's more a matter of the heart.
And then you say, now come back early tomorrow and we'll do it all over again.
Need God.
Say, great job, do it again.
But he's still, he's still acting as a teacher here. And I just love the way we put this together.
Scientists know more about its intricate design.
Because some people are always going to come back to facts. Some people are never going to say, well, the way it makes me feel is good, the way it makes you feel is good. But some people, we know people like this, and especially the character, she was, she's still curious. She's even friendly now, but she's still saying, okay, well, tell me what's wrong here. This didn't make sense to me before. Explain it.
One gospel account says that I healed 2 blind men outside of Jericho.
And a lot of people will say this, will say, well, back this up.
Or like this one. Well, why didn't Luke say it the same way that it was,
But see, she's doing it more of a friendly way, because before it was very much like an attorney having somebody on the stand, but now it's a curiosity. You've got the answers.
Well, I love it too, because sometimes it reminds us of how to answer someone's questions. It's
right.
Like, okay, well, just because the accounts might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's because if you and I see the same thing, we're going to pick up on different things and remember different things. It's not going to be
right.
We're not going to get together and share notes and make sure.
And you don't say, "Well, who did you vote for?" and I'll tell you. It's like no, nothing like that.
That would make them accountable to a creator. They don't want that.
Is there a hell?
I love this. It's just.
To where she's getting right down to asking him the stuff.
Now she's not doing the attorney. Now she's doing the human being that's scared. The scared of death. Just like the rest of us are. What is going to happen? Is there really a heaven?
The Father offers forgiveness to anyone willing to accept it.
And this is some of the best stuff too. And again, it's just the layers of the cake. Because if we had started out with this, we'd have no place to go. Or if they just debated the whole time, that would get tedious.
Oh yeah.
But it's the layers of the cake, and it's kind of taking the layers off of Nikki. We're not building a cake; we're kind of taking the layers off. To find out she's just a scared person who doesn't have all the answers, and she's never known how to get them.
Oh yeah, look at her now compared to back when she came back and said, "Prove it." I mean, how much she's.
Yeah.
How much she's allowed herself to come out.
And again, it's brilliant acting for Pamela. Just look how different she is, and how vulnerable she's getting.
Cause it separated itself from God.
And again, he's letting her process this, think it through, and understand it instead of just.
And do it now instead of waiting for some day in the future.
It's a little hard to answer because you can't see things.
She's kind of coming full circle because even after we recognize God's greatness, we still have. So why did you do this then? And people,
God didn't leave you to suffer alone.
Well, like people say, well, why does he let bad things happen or whatever? Just like she,
I'm sorry, but this is one of my favorite scenes when he recognizes the pain she's thinking about, and he literally reads her mind, like he can do.
You're still angry about your dad.
And I love this.
God took him away when I was 13.
To where she almost lashes out at him and then realizes what she did.
I'd say that's
Let's
worth
watch.
being angry about. Or was that just part of God's plan?
And we've all done this.
Your dad loved you very
we've all
much.
questioned God.
We used to do everything together. Reds games, Bengals. He used to coach my softball team. When Mom divorced him, we moved across town and he never coached me again.
I still saw him, though.
Every other weekend. What was it?
It's coming up when she snaps back at him and then immediately realizes what she did.
He missed you.
I'll be quiet now.
I know.
You don't know how heartbroken he was about you. It almost killed him to lose you.
Well, he didn't live much longer anyway, did he?
It's that look on her face.
Oh,
I just yelled at God.
So good.
I just snapped at God. It's like, what's he going to do to me?
Sorry, I've already
Yeah.
got to get the Kleenex out.
It is, and we've all got that because we, her dad died at an early
Yeah,
age,
you're right. That doesn't seem true.
and for the first time, she's not buying his answers. She's gonna, but she's playing
never
this
answered my
so
question.
well.
Was my parents' divorce and my dad dying part of God's plan?
And she's kind of gone back on the defensive because now she's like, quit just giving
You know
me
the story, the prodigal
Right,
son?
and it's
lip service,
Another
or
side
what
to
she
it,
thinks is.
What did it take?
Yeah, she's like, oh, great, here it
Yeah.
comes. Yeah.
Father who loved him.
for life to get really bad in the pig pen. So
Sometimes it takes a deep hurt to feel a deep need for God.
that's God's plan.
And you see
That's
his
what
pain.
God is willing to use in a
Right, you
broken
see, yeah.
world. Your dad's pain drove him to me. And without that wound in your heart, Nikki, you wouldn't be sitting here talking.
I have to apologize for Kelly. We didn't Kelly and I didn't rehearse this, so. And this is so natural.
And this is so true.
This
I'm
is so
sorry.
natural because sometimes even when we know the truth straight from him, it doesn't make sense to us, and I don't think, and he doesn't expect us to get it all at once.
And we all know that's true because
Yeah.
the more things are just great in your life and this and that, you can just roll along, and sometimes
There was Leslie Hudson at the time. She was our young Pam.
Wish I could say that.
And yeah. So you've got the man sitting right across from you, but still everything doesn't make sense, and he's cool with that. Here is our montage, and the main thing
where
we
they're
did
just
here.
enjoying each other's
Yeah,
company.
and I'd already pictured this, that they would talk all night, and you notice the people in the background are starting to change out, and the tables are empty and they're not getting refilled. And I love the montage. This is when I found out I love montages because it helps you pass the time along. But I wanted it. They talk all night and they're so engaged.
But what I love is that now she's just enjoying time with Jesus.
Yeah, and see it's empty. They're the last ones there. Last one's there.
And it brings you back to when you first fall in love with Jesus.
Yeah.
And you just
Watch it. But yeah, and it's just, what are they talking? Wow, man, they're really getting deep into it.
More coffee, ma'am?
No.
And just, look at that look she takes. Yeah.
You were ready for the bill.
And then there's Eduardo too. Break the moment.
It's like, okay,
And this-
we need to shut down.
God doesn't like
I wish I knew it. That's such a great line. I don't know if that was from the book or from me, so I'm gonna say it was David.
Let us know.
This is great.
Just in case.
He has listened to this all night, and it's
That's
like
so funny.
the eavesdropping waiter's like, okay, if this
Just
is,
in case.
Thank you very much.
and I have no idea what he wrote,
Thank you, Eduardo.
and I just let it go at that. We had a thought about let's show the note, and I said no.
Yeah.
You know, it was
Wonder
something
how much
personal.
that'll go for on eBay.
Now, if eBay was not still around,
Oh,
that
yeah.
would have really dated us. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad eBay.
And that would have been something personal, like good luck with your new baby girl or whatever, you know.
You kept talking about the gift of eternal life. What's heaven like?
Heaven is a really cool place. People's senses have
I
been
love
so
this.
dull
It's
by
like
living in
talking
the
about your
world.
hometown.
You're just not gonna believe all the sights.
And that was the that's how the book said. They said he sat back in his chair. This was in the novel. It said he sat back in his chair like he was about to reminisce about his
There's always all
hometown.
that clearly lit
And
light.
that's how I played it. So the direction was already
Do you remember
there.
how you felt when you stood next to the Grand Canyon? Just too awestruck, possibly take it all in.
Yeah.
Well, heaven is like that, only infinitely more.
So yeah, she has just
Stupid
found
asking
him
this, but-
fascinating,
Are the streets
and I
really
love
made of
that.
gold?
You know, describing heaven to you isn't exactly easy. It's like trying to describe snow to the Aborigines.
It just shows. I mean,
Points of reference
you know,
for you.
from her things before about not liking the neighbors, inviting her to church and stuff, and what I said, you know, she does not like churchy people. It just shows churchy
You're saying
has
I
nothing to
don't
do
have
with
do anything to get there?
Jesus. Jesus is real. Jesus is
I
love.
thought they were the same thing.
Jesus is a conversation. Jesus is, you know,
I'm not following you.
what's in your heart. It's not.
Eternal life
It's not
isn't a
rules.
place.
It's not
It's not
churchy
even primarily a
buzzwords,
length
and
of
you
time.
have to know this before you can talk to Jesus. It's like no, it's
Which makes me think,
Is eternal
back to churchy
I'm
buzzwords,
still not sure
that-
I'm getting it.
we made
Just
sure
as
that we
God
didn't have a lot of
is the
language
source
Yeah.
in
of all
here that
physical
people
life.
wouldn't know
He's the
what,
source of all
you know
spiritual
what
life.
we
Yeah.
were talking about.
yeah. We're
Look
big
at
on
this
that,
one.
not using churchy
God made your
buzzwords.
body.
That you have to be
Food,
in a
air,
club to
water. Now
know what they're
happens when you
talking
take those
about.
things away?
You die.
Right. And the same holds true for your spirit. God created your spirit to be joined with Him. And without Him, it dies. Your spirit has no eternal life.
So when
Yeah,
you say
if you've
the Father
invested this
offers me
far in the
eternal
film,
life,
you are learning some valuable stuff here. You were hearing some
So
backed up
what's
by
heaven?
biblically backed up
Heaven is the place where I am.
Truth.
information here, yeah. But it's done in the context of this story, and like you're
people
doing
don't
it through
go to
her
heaven
eyes.
until
You're
they
not
die.
sitting and watching a
you
sermon,
can have
which
eternal
is
life
what
right
we were
now.
really trying to avoid.
Eternal
Because,
life doesn't begin when you die.
We've
Eternal
even heard
life
from people
begins
that
the
as they're
moment you start
watching this,
trusting
they'd be going, oh,
That's
they're
what I
so
believe.
into Nikki, and they're going like, ask him this.
Yeah,
Ask him
ask him
that.
this next.
And
Ask him this for
sometimes
me.
they'd be like, oh, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to ask him. I'm
Ask
glad
him
you
this for
asked
me.
him that.
I never have understood the whole Trinity thing. The Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost.
This is
You were
great.
in the crowd. You weren't meant to understand it.
Are you saying I'm incapable of understanding it?
Yes. God
I
would
love
be
it.
much more
Her
God
look.
to fully understand Him. People
do
still
love
haven't figured
that.
out.
Yeah,
most of
now
the
they're punching
creation.
each other in the arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not supposed to
That's
be
right.
understand it.
Yeah, I'm
Wait,
not
yeah.
I'm
totally
God. I'm
comfortable
gonna know
with
more
God
than you.
coming to live inside me. I like the forgiveness part, but this other thing.
Is the best part. You need someone living inside you who will love you and accept you and want to be around
And she
you
just made
when
it,
you don't feel
you know,
good
as
about
an actor,
yourself.
she made it so easy for
Sarah
her. You know,
wants
it
to be
was like a
around
good tennis match.
Just wait till she's 15.
You played better against somebody, you know,
Good boy.
she was so much more accomplished actress than I was.
Yeah,
but
you weren't dragging her, and she wasn't dragging you.
it was easy
You
to
were working
rise
off
to
each
it,
other.
and like I said, you know, and there were, especially now,
You're like
you
a
know,
little
all of
kid
our
who doesn't
background
wanna go to
actors
Disney
are
World
gone.
because she's having too much fun making
all of our
life
background, but it's
nice
still
with
just
her.
me and her, and it's just getting the conversation.
There's
You know,
no adventure
I really forgot about the
like being
crew,
hooked
and
up with the creator of the
you know, yeah,
universe.
I'm just, as far as the chemistry goes, wow, I was just blown away by it. I still am. And
your
here's
first
where he's
step
gonna
would be
know
to let
something
God
about her
know
again.
that you're in a partner. A couple of months ago, you
And she
found
just has
out
that
someone
busted
wanted
look
your
on
life.
her face.
Her facial
Yeah.
expressions are so wonderful.
And she even tries to explain herself.
She's
and,
like,
yeah.
oh, you can just see
Yeah.
how hard this is.
Oh gosh, he knows.
You want to leave, don't you?
I can't quit. Without my income,
She
we
almost
probably wouldn't
talking
be
under
able to
her
keep living
breath.
in that house.
Yeah,
and
she wants to make sure
Matt
nobody
would
else
kill
hears
me
it.
if we had to move here.
There's other law firms. Maybe not as prestigious, but sure with better hours. I know Sarah would appreciate that. Those hours you spent
Little
working late are
reminder of the
hours you'll
things that are
never
more
get back with
important.
her. She'll be 15 before you know it.
I know.
I love the extreme close-ups on all
Yeah,
this.
Cassie Simon did a good job with the makeup on this. She was our makeup artist on several of them. And of course, this is our first feature that she did with us. And
It will work out okay.
yeah, because
I know it doesn't seem like
of course,
it, I
Pam
That's
needs
the truth.
nothing, but
Matt
she
would
did
be
have to look like
furious,
work
and then
Pam
I'd get mad at
and
him for reacting that way.
going out
and
to
then He
eat.
would start.
What if
Nikki,
someone lived
you know,
in you who could love Matt
on the
even
same
when he was upset
dime,
at you?
and
That seems
Of course.
impossible.
Not with God, it is.
on a close-up like that, you usually want to get an estimate.
The music's nice too. We haven't really talked about that.
Yeah, we had a couple of soundtrack composers on. It's kind of swapped out over the years with different copyrights and things going on.
Let me get this.
But here's where I think we did a decent job.
Nikki, it's a gift.
Another great line.
Yeah.
But the shock that she shows.
The music and her singing.
And we did
this.
okay. We did okay with it. We made our point that that's a scar. That's a scar that's healed, but it was still where a puncture wound was.
I thought they went through your hands.
And again, she's just faced with reality again of who this is, because she's kind of bought in and she's feeling pretty good about it. But then the reality of, oh, he's also the guy that got nailed up in public, naked, dying, and and here he is now. So that's, and again, I don't remember if that was in the book or not. I don't remember if that was in the novel or not. Seeing the scar. I'm sorry, David. I should have read the book last night before we did this.
I know. I'm trying to remember too because it's been so long.
And I've
since
written
I've
so
read it.
many screenplays. So we actually shot this in the park. There's Matthew Chappell. He would join us for several other films after this. We love Chappie.
Oh yeah.
Great actor.
Chappie.
Great actor. So we actually shot this in the parking lot of this restaurant.
You and Carlo act like old friends.
We are.
How long?
And it was, I remember, it was difficult for sound because we were really close to the interstate.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
And so we knew we were probably going to go back and do some dialogue replacement on some of this. And we did a little bit, not as much as we thought we were
Even though it
going
was
to.
late at night, yeah, it was a really
Yeah.
busy road right there.
What did you drive?
And this was a steady cam shot. And
Yeah, that turned out nice.
Of course you did.
And that's harder than
Well,
it
you
looks,
never told
guys,
me who sent
to
the
do it that
invitation.
nice and smooth.
yeah, it's not on a track. And,
I mean, that's-
Kevin is on a
Suppose
steady
this was your
cam.
idea
Yeah.
from the beginning.
It's a big contraption to make it look everything smooth.
You remember when your
Good
dad
job,
went away
Kevin
and
Brown.
you asked God to come and tell you why it happened?
Not really.
Well, I remember. And I've been planning this dinner for a long time.
And I love that. Too. Just the thought of something
love
you
that.
forgot about. I've been planning this
Well,
dinner your
yeah.
whole life.
That yeah, for years when you weren't thinking about me, I was thinking about you,
Yeah.
and I
Will
was
we
looking
get
forward to
together for
this.
dinner again?
This is some of the
That's up to
yeah.
you.
This is some of the best
I'm not sure what
stuff
that means.
ever. This is what sticks out in my
Anything
mind
you
about
do
this
is
movie.
Oh, I love it. When she gets in the car, we're not gonna talk anymore.
And it's when she says, we're gonna do this again. He says, anytime you want to.
That'll take another reach.
But the look she just gives him, the look she steals right there while he's
You just
riding,
getting home.
because she knows that
That's
the
already
night is
sleeping.
winding down.
Matt? Oh, no. The game
She still
won't be
just
over
wanted to
for at
keep
least
taking
a
Tim
it
got
all
sick on the
in.
nachos. They came home after the fourth inning. Sarah's there
A
too. She got
a
scared.
few more
and
Jesus
had
knows
to
everything moments, and now she thinks it's funny.
I'm glad you
She's
said
like,
it, Nikki.
oh yeah,
I've enjoyed our time together.
I have too.
Remember,
Yeah.
Matt's on your side. He just hasn't learned how to show it very well yet. Just give him time and love him.
Okay.
Give Sarah a big hug for me.
I will.
Yeah, you love that, hug your kid for me. And again, he didn't force anything. He just said, I'm so glad I got to see you, but she can't let it go. And this is why she's just overwhelmed, because she knows, the night's ending. So we redid the scar to make it look a little more visible on this take. It's just at the end of the day being reminded what he did for her, you know, and that overwhelms her.
Thank you.
Perfect music.
That's what I was going to say. The music's perfect.
But she just, you know, there's only 2 words that, you know, there's so much you want to say to him, but if you got to boil it down, 2 words. Thank you. And now, her, like you, is just turned into a crying mess.
Oh, and I'm really hoping. Until next time. It's like, oh my gosh, what did I just experience?
So this is an ending that I wrote. I never had much time to talk about this or not. I did write this ending because, you know, in the novel he did walk away and she watched him walk away. But then I just want to do an affirmation for the pictures in her mind of who he is, because, you know, we don't think of Jesus with blonde hair and that. So we shot this to see, you know, the Jesus on the painting she grew up with. It's like, I can do anything. I'm going to give you a look. You know, if we had met back in the first century.
He's giving her a smile like, there you go.
That he has that first century look. And it's like, you know, he didn't have to do that, but he did. But the thing is, we shot those in 2 different times.
They were not together.
Yeah, that's actually a double because we're shooting this at a different location. They weren't together. What we did, that we shot that a week before because I had to shave and lose the hair extensions.
So yeah, Pamela was not seeing him,
and I was not looking back at anything either.
And they're both reactions just, oh my gosh.
So now we're putting a capper on everything. There's back in Chicago here, so there's his Cubs shirt. And Dennis Martin, actor from Nashville, a really good friend of mine, did a fantastic job in this. So she's coming home just a little gentler and wiser than when she left this morning.
I'm really sorry about this morning.
We can talk about it tomorrow. I'm gonna go look in on Sarah before I
This was our friend David and Annie's house. They were so...
Oh, very generous.
You find out who your great friends are when you
just like, here, do whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, when you
very generous.
Are an independent filmmaker, you find out who your friends and family are.
Definitely.
Adorable little Sarah, you know. Jesus had told her, he said, you know, Sarah's already home. She got scared at the camp out, and so she still even had her flashlight going. So this is
great. She's coming home, looking at her family in a whole different way.
Yeah. So we know that she's. I'm sure she's just processing everything.
And we shot this later too. Remember?
Yeah, we shot this afterwards because we had to. This is probably a few months after, because we didn't tie her into the last scene here. We needed we didn't have this shot, so we brought Pam back
and fabulous
her
Pam.
Costume. Yeah.
She had come back to do theater and just thought on her own that she would bring her costume just in case.
Yeah.
That's a professional.
So we didn't have to fly in her costume from New York.
Fabulous, yeah.
But we didn't know what was on the business card. We still don't. We just know that he wrote her a note or something on there. So this was a fun reveal. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say it again. I don't know if that was in the novel or if.
Right. We know the part where she saw him biblically was not, but I'm not sure about this part.
And here she's back to being there, and now we see what it is. I mean, he's quoting his own book.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Because remember the thing that she asked, you know, she said, "Are we going to get together again?"
Right.
And he said,
He's gonna answer her.
Give me your card.
I love that close-up shot.
And Jesus said, "Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into them and will dine with them, and they with me."
Yeah, no, she's got to be exhausted, emotionally exhausted.
Oh,
and she did that so great. Did that so great.
And again, that was a few months later, and she had that emotion there.
Yeah.
She was fabulous.
Here's the wonderful people that helped us make this happen.
Oh my gosh.
We made it for very few funds.
So many incredible people.
Yeah. It's just weird.
Yay, David Gregory.
Seeing my name all over the credits.
Our first Kelly's Filmworks production.
Yeah.
Of full length.
Yeah. In association with City on it. That was Shane's production company at the time. We kind of joined forces. That was the only time we joined forces.
Right.
So yeah. So then we learned about credit rolls. But should we tell? Because when this movie came out, Blockbuster was still very much of a thing. So yeah, you people may have to tell. Some people may have to explain to their kids what Blockbuster was.
Unfortunately.
But we wanted to get into Blockbuster, and they were interested in us, but they had a prerequisite. They had a minimum of how long a movie could be to be a Blockbuster movie, and be on their shelves. And this was not a long movie. I think the script was 70 pages maybe, and I just want to add a bunch of stuff that wasn't necessary. Right. In the story. Film look artist Alan Kelly, Film Looks, who gave us this great look. So it timed out after we got done with it. It timed out at like 71, 72 minutes, and I think the minimum was 76 or something like that. We were almost there, and we knew I didn't want to go add some fluffy scenes or anything like that and stuff. And I said, well, I guess, how can we do it? So I said, we could slow down the credit roll to get over that, but that's still a big slowdown. So
yeah, this is the slowest.
Slowest
of anybody.
Yeah.
You can't usually read the credits. This one you can.
Yeah.
Memorize.
So I didn't want to bring Pam back in and shoot a fluffy scene or do something that just seemed unnatural. And I wanted to have some meaning, so I said, how about we do something that's never been done before, because that's kind of what we don't mind doing something that's never been done before. I said, how about we take the directors and the star and put them in the end credits and let them say a piece. And I have never heard anything positive or negative about adding these interviews in the middle. But that's why we originally did it.
Well, and we're not even sure how many people have watched it, because some people may have turned it off.
Some people may have turned it off, yeah. So
if you have the DVD and you haven't watched,
Darby Duggar was Pamela's double. Lauren Lowe, our niece. So many great, dedicated people. But we didn't. I even had to look up. I think I set these. I set the credit roll because I did the editing, and I had to learn how to do a credit roll. I didn't know what jobs were called or anything like that. And a lot of these people are still with us today, which is great. We still work together. Savvy Former Wear gave us that. But so yeah, we added these interviews in the middle here to make it longer. But I don't think it was a bad thing. But like you said, most people probably turned it off after that last scene.
And on TV, of course, it's not going to show.
So casting assistant.
If you watch it on TV, that's not going to be there.
Yeah, casting assistant Matt Wallace. Remember why he got that credit? He told us about Pam.
Thank you, Matt.
We've got a second now because when I wrote the screenplay, I wrote it with somebody in mind. It was the second screenplay I'd written, because I'd already written Clancy, but then I read this novel and I said, I think this will make a good screenplay. So I wrote the screenplay, and it helped me to have somebody in mind, and an actress friend of ours, so it's a double. Her name was Kendall Rutledge, and I always imagined her playing Nikki. Beautiful girl, great actress, very emotional actress. And so I kind of wrote this for Kendall. And we got closer to time that this was going to be a reality. It was going to get shot. And Kendall, we hadn't offered her the role or anything yet, but she tells the world, oh, guess I'm about to have my first baby. So, oh, that's great.
You mean you planned this without us?
That's great news. So So I went to Kelly. I said, okay, because this is gonna happen. We know this is gonna happen. We're already setting up crews and hiring people. We gotta find a.
Yeah,
we gotta
can't
find a
wait
Nikki.
a year or something.
We
Yeah.
gotta find a Nikki. So we read a few people, and here come the interviews. Now, they were all heartfelt. So it's nothing I am ashamed of doing to make the film a little bit longer.
Knew it was something
But it was
love
great.
to be involved with.
But to get onto that,
because I loved the
So we
story.
went to
I
Matt.
thought
we went to
both
well.
in David Gregory's novel and
I think
in
we saw
Jefferson's
her. Did
adaptation,
we?
I thought
She was
Oh
performing.
yeah, we saw her.
She was
in,
performing at a. She was performing at a derby. She was
what was the
performing
show?
at a dinner theater. Pamela was performing in My Fair Lady
My Fair
at
Lady.
a dinner theater.
And we started looking at
And
her.
we read a couple,
I
three
knew
people
that
for Nikki,
playing Nikki
a couple,
would
three
be
actresses, and just
one of
wasn't
those fun kind of
happening. We
challenges
said,
as
well,
an actor.
it's
She's
Kindle
such
or
a
nothing
complex
because nobody's
individual,
doing
and
it.
there were so
you know.
many walls
I
that
almost forgot.
needed to be built
And
up inside her. And
so,
slowly
but then
broken
we,
down.
our
And
friend Matt
she
worked
runs
at
just about the entire gamut of emotions
local
within
dinner
a
theater,
fairly compact
professional
amount
dinner
of
theater.
time.
And
So
you and I,
be careful
he
in
would
this
give us
particular
comp
story
tickets every
to
now and then. So we got to go
not
see
give
a
away
show
too
called My
much
Fair
too
Lady,
soon, but let
and it
the
was
audience
this
follow
curly-haired
Nikki
girl
naturally on
playing
her journey
Eliza.
this
We
day.
just thought she was great. She
I
was
think that
beautiful.
Nikki
She had
is
such a
character
presence.
that almost
And
every
I think
human
you leaned
being
over
can
and said,
relate
what
to
do
on
you think about
some
her for
level
Nikki?
and
And
identify
I'm like,
with.
wow.
She
It was the
works
first thing in my
so
mind. I didn't know we were there to
hard
cast. I thought we were there to
achieve
watch a
success
show.
in her
And I
personal
started
life,
looking, I said,
her
I
family
could
life,
see
and
that.
her work life.
She's got a good
She
press,
doesn't realize that the more
that
and
playing
more
that
she
role. So
tries to keep
I got in touch with
situations
Matt.
under
I said,
control,
Matt, can you,
the
you
more
know,
and
can
more
you,
stressful and
something you're not supposed to say, can you give me this girl's phone number? But anyway, I said, do you know what this girl has
She doesn't
done
realize that in
any
her anger,
movies, which is funny because you and I hadn't
Yeah.
any
tried to
movies
surround herself
for the
with
most part.
to make her
And so he
perfect
did an
art
introduction,
film
and
this
we
void
did an
she has
audition. We did a
inside
whole
her.
audition,
And
and she was
Throughout the
perfect.
course
great.
of this evening,
She
we
was-
weren't even halfway done. I was
Not
like, oh.
only
Yeah, she was just
faced with
perfect. And
the things that have been haunting her throughout
and so
her
yeah,
life,
so
but
we
she also, in
she
the
lived in New
beauty of this
York,
story,
and
gets to come
she
face
worked a
to
lot
face
with a lot of
Jesus Christ
theaters.
himself.
So we had to
And
start looking at
it poses the
schedules
question,
and
what
found out
would
the
you
thing
say?
that
What would you do?
the one thing I
What would
don't
you
love as
ask
much about
if you were sitting across the
filmmaking
table
is
from
all the
Jesus
scheduling,
Christ,
other
the
people's
person?
schedules.
And
So
in Nikki's
It gets very
particular
complicated.
case,
Yeah.
she
So we got it knocked out.
poses
We
many of
figured
the
out a time. Then we could
questions
start building
that
the
several
the
people
cake
have probably
around that.
explored
Here's when she's
on their journey
available.
towards faith.
Here's when we'll shoot
And
this.
she
Finding a
And
faces
giving her
restaurant.
plenty of time for both of you all
Yeah,
for your
yeah.
lines and stuff.
That last scene when you see her drive away, that would we actually shot that. That was the when we shot me in the first AD
And,
Jesus
this all
costume.
happens
We
as
shot
she
that. That was at
realizes that in the
a
midst of all the complexities
two-story restaurant
and,
in Louisville that was
frustrations of
closed
life
down,
and
but their
humanity,
parking lot
and
was
how
marked similar to the one that we
complicated
actually
all the
used.
questions
You know,
how
for the
simple
most of the
answer
movie.
really is.
So we shot that
It
scene,
all
and
comes
our
back
friend
to
Darby,
this
who has
gift,
long
this
curly blonde hair, we
immeasurable
dyed her
love
hair
of
black. We
God,
put her in Pamela's costume just so she
why
could
I think this
do the
story
drive away
is
shot.
so
But you know, we
beautiful,
made use of
and
that
why I think this
two-story.
She's probably going, I can't believe you made me do that to my hair. You can't
Yeah.
even see my hair.
Well, we didn't have any. We didn't have any money for a crane shot. We knew we wanted
Yeah.
something when she drives away,
And
something
we
that
weren't
looks a
sure
little
what you
different.
were going to be able to see.
And so there's thanks to all the Smith family. So you know, we on that two-story French restaurant, it was closed down, and one of our associate producers, Sweet Talk, the guys came, can we shoot here and I shoot a scene and stuff. So we shot the whole scene of the first AD Jesus costume walking away from the camera, and I had my bit there and stuff. Then we shot, you know, Darby pulling out, but it was a two-story restaurant, so we actually, because we didn't have enough money for a crane, we put the DP and the AD up on top of.
Yeah, just put them up on top.
Put them up on top of this, you know, on top of this building, so we could get that long shot of, you know, her car pulling out. So that's how we.
Since you're working for really cheap, could you also get up on the roof?
Yeah. So then, you know, after shot that night, I shaved and stuff, and I had hair extensions in. I'm trying to think if we dyed my hair, if we just had a temporary. Anyway, but that all happened a week before Pam even got into town. So
Yeah, we got that done.
we shot the ending very
I think they've all
first.
seen
So
enough of the Jesus that is up on the velvet painting, you know, and on the.
yeah, we
floating
did
on
this
the
at Shane's
stained glass
office.
window at the
Shot
so
these
distant and
interviews.
far away. I think they need to
So
see
you know
the
what
picture.
else? I mean, we
They need to know
the
there's
story
Jesus
was I was doing the passion play that we talked about beforehand, and people would leave gifts. I was playing the role of Jesus in this passion play, and I did it for like 6 years.
When we were 6 years
And it was a
old.
huge play, like huge people would come from all over the world to see the show, and it was Broadway scale. It was not a local basement production. And I played the role of Jesus, and I said, we got good responses to the way, the choices I made, and I was thrilled with that. And people would leave things in my dressing room, and gifts and cards and things. But one night, someone had left me this book. It was called Dinner with a Perfect Stranger. And they had put a name inside,
By David Gregory.
Yeah, by David Gregory. And they said, to have a good show, whatever, that you put it like that. And they signed her name Kathy Hodge. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know if she was in the crew or if she was, somebody in the audience. I didn't know. But I took the book home, and it sat on our coffee table for a long time, because I'm not an avid reader. I'm just not very bright. And so, profile.
Personally, I always thought those
Too
movies
much.
missed the mark.
And,
because every time it seems like Jesus and even God.
So the book's on our coffee table, but then I was sick with the flu, and I was laying on the couch, just sick, and I'd watched Sports Center as many times as I could watch in one day. I said, well, when all else fails, read. So I read the novel, and it was a novella. It was actually tiny. It was like 110 pages. And after I read it, I said, wow, this is the best explanation of who Jesus really is I've ever seen. I'll bet this would make a great screenplay. And I'd messed around with screenplays before, but nothing had been produced. So I took the novel and I adapted it to a screenplay, and I did the changes we talked about, changed the main character from a man to a woman, and then built a little bit of front story, a little bit of after story, just to kind of bookend the dinner. And I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know business-wise. This was backwards. First you get permission to write a screenplay of someone's novel, and then you write it. But I wrote it, and then I was trying to get in touch with him. And he was a little hard to track down, but I managed to. And
Because he was just starting out just like
he was just starting out, yeah. He was not even being an author full-time, David Gregory, back then. And he had written it as part of like an assignment for a study. And he said, I self-published it, gave it to family and friends and stuff, and like 2,000 copies. So I said, well, can we make a movie of this? And he says, yeah, sure, if you want to. And I was like, well, great. We don't have much money, and we'll work it out. If this thing does earn anything, we will share this much with you. And we talked over lunch, and I was in Dallas and happened to meet with him.
Overshared French fries.
Yeah, and. So he said, yeah, go ahead. And then I said, well, then I signed the screenplay, and he read it, and he said, I explained to him why I wanted the main character to be a woman instead of a man. And he was good with it, so he said, yeah, and our expectations were low. Remember, I said, worst case scenario, we're going to make this, and we're going to sell them out of the back of a van. Because you still had your job at the bank, so we knew we weren't going to starve, and I was still a working actor. But while we were shooting the movie, the self-published novel got picked up by Random House, and they put it out as their release. And it wound up, it was so well done, it wound up going to the New York Times bestseller list. And we were shooting the movie.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, and we were shooting the movie version of it.
We had the rights to the movie before anybody knew how good the book was.
Yeah, so by the time we got the movie finished and done, all this advertising about David Gregory's great story had already been done. So that just really kind of gave us a leg up. And it was still, we really marketed this movie for a full 10, 11 months. That was my job every day for 10 months. Trying to get somebody to look at this movie and pick it up for distribution. And a lot of rejections, but at least it got my foot in the door, and I say, well, this is based on a New York Times best-selling novel. And so that really helped us. That was a big leg up for. The movie still had to do things on its own merit. Nothing was given to us.
Right.
But to get somebody to watch it, just to get them to say, well, take a look at it, because they say, they would say, we went to Paramount, we went to Fox, went to all the big studios, and networks, and they would say,
that Hollywood is a giant.
small budget
Intimidate us.
production values,
Things don't work the same way God's kingdom.
Nice try, kiddo.
no name stars. That was another thing. Yeah.
And his army going out to fight
Having Miss
the
Kentucky
battle.
in the background
It was a
evidently didn't
huge
make
army.
anything. So.
And God said no.
So that's kind of really how it all started, but then it just turned out to be so. Like I said, we got after
If you go out and fight
we did a
this
little bit in the
battle, your army
theaters,
win, you get the glory.
and kind of
But you
broke
go out
even
and fight
on
this
that.
battle and win with 300
We
men.
got picked up by a cable network,
So I
and people
grew up
got to
part
see
of
it for the first time,
what I
and
hope
people
is
really
God's army
responded
for
in
300.
big ways. And then that cable network started showing, and then retailers wanted the DVDs. So.
Right.
But it's been an amazing journey with it, and I guess are we going to talk out through the rest of this, or do you want to wrap it up?
They're probably tired of hearing us by now.
Okay, but it's been an amazing journey.
And thank you for everyone that has.
Yeah,
supported
everybody
us.
has
Oh my
seen
gosh.
it. Yeah, thank
We're
you
so
so
thankful
much.
for that.
But no, it's really been it's just a great story, and a great presentation of story. And I'm saying that with all humility that I had the chance to do this. But like I said, what I love is it's still relevant. You can see when it was made, and it's still so relevant today too. So, okay, so we're gonna say our goodbyes. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
we
you.
got more of these coming. So, the next one up will be
Another Perfect Stranger.
Will be Another Perfect Stranger. Will be the sequel. So, we'll see.